we're in Milan tonight again. This is one of our favorite cities to play in. You know, the crowds are usually crazy here, so you know.
You don't say that in every city.
No, I'm serious. No.
Just
Amsterdam, Prague, and Milan, and Bologna has been amazing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm from Bologna. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that. I don't know how you know.
Yeah.
Why you say that?
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
hate Bologna.
Muschio selvaggio, Caspifico, Federico,
Martin.
triangolare, muschio, microfono, videocamere e luci.
Ospiti diversi tra i più nuovi amici.
20 minuti, un'ora di argomenti.
Imprevedibilità, giochi, potenza, risate, pianti, rispetto, sincerità e approfondimenti. Siamo negli anni 20.
Muschio selvaggio.
Idromassaggio.
Ciao Gigi, come sei venuto qua oggi?
Beh, col treno.
Come hai acquistato il tuo biglietto?
Beh, ho utilizzato Trainline, che è un modo smart e intuitivo per prenotare il treno. Grazie all'app è possibile confrontare in una sola volta treni e pullman di diverse compagnie in Italia e in Europa, trovando il viaggio perfetto per te.
Puoi utilizzarla per prenotare biglietti last minute, ma anche viaggi con mesi d'anticipo. Inoltre ricevi gli aggiornamenti sul viaggio in tempo reale e le notifiche su ritardi e cancellazioni.
Prova l'app di Trainline, è molto semplice.
Scaricatela tutti.
Oh no, is that her squirt?
No.
Yeah. That's from like the third
Her squirt.
episode.
You can smell it, you can taste
don't-
it.
I don't, you should not.
You can do
Yeah,
whatever
I
you
don't
want.
to.
It's not the
Yeah.
best.
Amazing.
Sasha's face.
And she made a biscuits.
Yeah,
with her
cookies.
squirt,
Yeah.
cookies,
And we tried them.
and we try.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
that good.
What did she?
it wasn't that good.
Yeah, she replaced butter with squirt.
butter.
Yeah,
What did she think
but
the
it-
squirt is?
she
I-
used like
and it's
water.
not as
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
it's-
water.
But isn't it just like mainly piss?
yeah. That's her. She's trying to show that it's not
try
just
to
piss,
convince
yeah.
it's not.
What's her name?
Maura.
This is the spectrum. We had all kinds of guests.
Yeah.
Mainly musical guests, because
Mainly,
the
yeah.
music industry people are the big stars right now.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are more than actors. I mean, the fame that musicians have, it's like the biggest fame.
Mostly in Italy.
I don't know. Even in I think that the music industry is
Biggest
so strong.
people in the U.S. don't do anything. They're just famous for being famous.
Yeah.
Maybe yeah. That's probably what happened with social media and yeah. There's so many different kinds of fame, and I feel like the music fame is still
The strongest.
Yeah.
So
In-
you guys
in
are-
Italy.
yeah, in Italy. But I
Yeah.
think I don't know, in the U.S. you can tell me that.
Well, we live in LA, which is different than anywhere else in the
Oh,
US.
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
LA,
So,
it's LA.
But you
Yeah.
guys are from New York, right?
Alex is from New York.
Okay.
I'm from Maine.
Maine.
which is-
That's crazy.
yeah. Do you know where Maine is?
It's like the
Yeah,
Italy-
how did
Italy
you
of
end
Europe.
up in-
It's the Italy of Europe.
Yeah.
The Italy of Europe, of the US.
what? How did you end up doing what you do from Maine?
Well, I lived in Argentina when I was in high school.
Nice.
And that's where I heard like techno for the first time, like Trent Muller, the beginning of David Guetta and
Yeah.
all that stuff. This is like 2007,
Oh wow.
2007. And I played music my whole life, but I had never heard that before, and I wanted to figure out how to make it. So when I moved back home, I just spent all day doing that, and then I went to school in upstate New York for music business, and then after school, I just at the last second I was gonna go get a real job, and then like Hail Married, the opportunity to work with Alex came up.
Oh,
That's
amazing.
crazy.
Yeah.
You still work with Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
He was actually the
'Cause
one he was like, "Yo, you're going to Milan. Make sure you text him." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh fuck, you're right."
yeah.
Because you always forget those things in
Yeah.
your places.
Like 3 years ago, me and my wife tried to start a DJ project.
Oh yeah, you told me.
Was it a DJ project?
What?
It was a DJ project.
It was a DJ project.
Yeah.
Adam is
Our manager, yeah.
And very manager.
Uh-huh. sì.
And he wants to do the couple DJ
Yeah.
vibe stuff. But my wife, she can do this stuff.
She cannot keep the rhythm.
CDJ, on the CDJ.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
She
The
can do
rhythm.
it. Like the song, the riff on the song, it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
this,
the
and my
rhythm,
wife
yeah.
do like. it's weird.
Career over.
She destroyed my DJ career.
is the sex like that, or is it?
Go offbeat.
And guys, you won a Grammy.
Oh yeah.
How is? They give you 2 or only 1?
Like one to share.
Yeah, want to share?
You had to cut it in half or something?
Yeah, I have the left half at my house. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Okay. I wouldn't have done that, you know?
I don't know how easy it is to replace it. Like if you lost it or broke it.
Yeah, or get stolen because some of our friends have had their Grammys stolen, and I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if they got them replaced.
Well, if you take enough
I don't
pictures,
have a
that's fine.
friend.
You have to take
like this.
pictures.
Every morning, take a picture with it just in case.
Yeah. You never know.
No.
Yeah, I did a little presentation for our
Oh, wow.
Italian fans. Probably
He's
everybody
famous
know you
for
guys.
his presentation.
Okay.
I mean, it's my job, you know.
Yeah.
So, they chain smokers, DJ and producer.
Oh, it's like
and
a
production
PowerPoint.
deal. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Because I studied in the U.S. and that's what they taught me.
Right.
You sold over 0.5 million albums, 1 Grammy. I mean, you got many,
Well, half a Grammy.
half a Grammy
Right,
Half
right,
a
right,
Grammy
right.
each.
yeah.
Yeah.
And many other awards.
Yeah.
You got close to 11 billion streams globally across your catalog. So, ragazzi, capito? After all of this, do you believe in luck? I'm not saying you are lucky.
I think I believe in luck now more than ever.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You do. You
Yeah,
think
yeah, for sure.
there's some amount of luck in all of this
Yeah.
with all those songs in the charts and everything.
I think it's a
Yeah.
combination of, and this applies probably to everything in life, which is just a combination of being prepared, being lucky, and having the right timing. And I think all of those things, when they come together at the right time, and you have, usually something really special happen. And you can still do well with 2 out of 3, but 1 out of 3 is really hard. But yeah, there's just like intrinsic things that you can't put, intangible things that you can't put your finger on,
Yeah.
that end up
Yeah.
leading to.
Actually, right now I trust you because you've been doing that for actually like 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
So that's I mean, I always say it's not luck if it keeps happening, you know. I don't want to say you're lucky.
But all you can control is making stuff that you like, making stuff that you believe in, that you want to listen to, and then there's plenty of stuff that we love that isn't a big contributor to that many streams,
Yeah.
but as long as you're intrinsically like connected to your art and it's a true representation of you, then that's all you can do.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then- but you can't make the world love a song. They have to, especially now more than ever. The internet just decides.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or you start following the trends and trying to hack the TikTok world and make it there. But I
The
feel
funny
that,
thing
yeah.
with TikTok though is if you try to manufacture something, and there are a lot of artists that are doing a really good job at, especially the ones that are up and coming that are just posting again and again and again, and they get some kindling and then they have a fire and then they have a bonfire, But I mean, if you try to manufacture a moment, I feel like TikTok more than anything rejects it.
Oh yeah.
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 Basically, it's like that.
Yeah. You have to people need to feel like you are telling the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. To speak
Or
what
they
you
want to
are.
decide for themselves that your song is a hit. They don't
Yeah.
want you to tell them like,
Yeah.
I made this and it sounds like something you're gonna like and whatever. But
Yeah.
some kids are really good at it.
Well,
But,
you guys have done it many times. That's why. I mean, before TikTok and
Before,
yeah, all your songs are stuck in time. You guys represent. I don't know if you probably everybody told you that, but the songs you guys made represent a whole year of a person. I remember if I listen to one of your song, I don't know. So baby, pull me closer in the backseat. That one represent to me like me in a club on the beach,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
a few years ago, and with girls and stuff.
They're all gone now.
My memories are when I go out, make out with a DJ.
There you go. With their song.
The very song. Tiger Lily, you remember?
Oh yeah.
The blue hair
yeah.
DJ.
She's Australian, right?
She's Australian. I go to Australia with your songs, guys. You like to live in
Country
LA right now? I think it's changed.
Yeah,
A
I'm
lot.
I keep saying like I'm kind of short LA right now, and I don't know, maybe that's just because I feel like I'm getting older, and it's just
Yeah.
there's like a whole, you've seen like kind of 2 generations come up under you in the city and like do things differently, and you don't want to be the old guy that's
Yeah.
like back in my day.
We ain't
But at the
never
same time,
getting older.
yeah, we are.
Yeah.
That was a lie.
But yeah,
But New York has a lot of magic again right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of the artists I like the most, and just overall creative I like the most. The aesthetic I like the most is coming out of New York more than anywhere else in the U.S. But that's my personal taste, you know.
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Youngblood told us that LA looks. It's very much image. You know, it's a.
You know what's like a shame about LA? Sometimes I watch or I'll like listen to a podcast or read a book about or watch a movie about old LA, and like everybody was out like hanging out together, like record producers and rock stars and actors and actresses, and now you don't see people out. It's like private parties here and there is where you meet people that are really doing, in my opinion, interesting things, but there's not. You know, you kind of like watch this like fantastical world that used to exist where like everyone was all together and that was like culture, and it feels very segregated now in LA. And I don't know if that's better in New York, but New York's just like cooler.
Oh yeah.
You
Are
know?
you touring a lot, guys?
Always.
Always. Like, how much dates?
Yes,
How many dates?
How many dates?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know how many
In a
we're
year.
doing this?
Probably this year, like 110, 120.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Which
So
sounds
is
like a lot, but before COVID, it was like 180 a year. It was like every other day.
That's
Oh my
crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy because we
So,
were doing 50 shows in
I know
Vegas.
Martin Garrix, and
Yeah.
one time he slept on my couch,
Yeah.
and I say, "How's
Really?
your house, Martin?" And he respond me like, "I don't know,"
Yeah.
because he had a huge house in Amsterdam. I don't know where.
We were with him last night, actually.
Last
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, we were in Amsterdam. We just came from Amsterdam. Didn't
Oh,
we?
wow.
That's a
Yeah, yeah,
different
yeah.
kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
And-
Martin's great.
But it's so
Stressful.
stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, how it starts is, you know, you want to become a DJ super bad, and, you know, you start to make something that people are interested in booking, or people hear one of your remixes or one of your songs, and, you know, then you go from sitting in your bedroom to playing for, you know, 200 people where like maybe 3 of them know who you are. And then as it builds from there, and it built like so gradually for us and for I think most other DJs, because DJing is different. There's always like kind of a place for you, you know, like even if you're not like big yet, there's clubs in every city that are
Yeah,
booking
festival.
DJs, you know. There's so many opportunities where I feel like some solo artists or bands don't have that many like venue possibilities. But so as you like grow up and no one cares about you, as people start to care about you, you know, even when you get to all of these shows, you've like built up this stamina, this like endurance that, you know, 1, you can do it, and 2, you want to do it because you've also done a ton of really shitty gigs, and now you're getting to we're in Milan tonight again. This is one of our favorite cities to play in. You know, the crowds are usually crazy here, so
Yeah.
you know,
You
we're
don't
bo-
say that in every
Yeah.
city.
No, I'm serious. No.
Just-
Amsterdam, Prague, and Milan, and Bologna has been amazing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm from Bologna. Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that. I don't know how you know.
Yeah.
Why you say that?
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
hate Bologna.
The TV got excited.
How often do you play shows now?
I don't really play because I had a cancer,
Yeah.
so I have to fight that. But I do a festival in this square,
in the main square in the
in
Duomo.
the main square in Duomo. I had a huge festival with 30,000 people,
Sick.
and I want to do two days for next year.
That's
Sick.
awesome.
Yeah, and it's good for the city. It's
And you pick the artists that play it?
yeah.
That's
I
sick.
do the headline,
Yeah.
all the stuff. And,
Is it like primarily local?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the
Yeah,
The
only
city
local
squares
sick.
are like the heart of the
Yeah.
city, the community.
So what's
It's,
like the most like musically, what genre is kind of the most important genre right
Yeah.
now in
Here?
Italy? Yeah.
trap,
Trap,
Yeah.
really?
fucking trap.
Yeah. It's a,
Well, what
it's
is
slowing down
what
a
is
little.
trap for you guys?
It's similar to your guys' trap. It's like drill music.
Guys
and-
with
yeah.
trenches say woo, 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 woo.
Yeah. Hey, it's pretty much. It's very similar.
know
No,
who
it's
you
more
are.
close to the UK drill right now.
Okay.
this
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing the photos of these you posted. That looks
Yeah.
crazy.
The Duomo, it's unbelievable.
It's crazy the city that lets you do that. It's fucking awesome.
We have a lot of history stuff and we can mixing together.
Yeah.
My wife.
It's
Babe,
better than
sto facendo
than-
un'interview in inglese. Sono da Muschio, amore, con i Chainsmokers.
Are you married?
No.
Girlfriend?
Ciao, Patata.
Yes, but yeah, it's different in Italy to get you in the US. It's people get married earlier than here. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
21, it's normal to get married in the US, right?
Raha, were you saying the other day that like your friends are getting married early?
Middle of America.
Yeah.
Middle, yeah.
But like
Yeah.
what age? Like 20?
Like in Nebraska, 23 to
23.
Okay, that's crazy.
Which
23 is crazy. How-
We actually, I'm 25, so people usually get married at 30 here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30.
And they get.
I feel like
yeah.
that's like pretty. I mean, I'm 32 and he's 37, and that's like our whole crew is like single as hell.
Yeah.
I mean,
You guys
we have
too?
girlfriends and
Okay.
stuff, but like, I mean, in kind of our industry, we don't really see
Yeah.
like people get married that young.
Yeah, because you guys are traveling. If you're away all year long, how can you sustain even the relationship? Either you take your girlfriends with you,
It's hard.
but yeah, it must be logistically tough, like having a relationship all over the world, you know. But I feel like you guys, after all these years, you probably found a balance for personal life and music life. Do you think?
Yeah.
Tough
It's
question.
an ongoing.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an ongoing thing. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's all kind of blurred together.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, like, I don't think anyone can argue that like everyone's getting divorced. I think it's like 70% of couples get divorced now or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just like it feels like almost like an inevitable thing. So if you're gonna like take something that seriously, like I don't know, there's no rush and don't rush
Yeah.
into it. And I think you got to like make sure that both people are like doing really cool things that are meaningful to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you can't have
Independent.
someone build a relationship around
Yeah.
your world and vice versa. Like your wife has her whole like
Yeah.
amazing career. And I think that makes for like a more stable, healthy relationship. But
Yeah.
you know, shit is hard for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chiedigli lo stato di salute del movimento IDM.
Oh, how is EDM doing?
I don't say. I didn't
Yeah,
say
he said that.
No, I
Exactly,
say
yes.
the
No, I
healthiness.
How healthy is EDM?
Yeah.
How healthy is the movement?
From
Yeah.
our baby
Okay.
songs.
It's been really interesting because you know, there was a big, you know, from 2011 to 2016 probably EDM was everything. Like there were so many new artists. It felt like it had a really healthy scene, tons of new festivals, tons of new artists. Everyone was excited about it. And then I feel like hip hop, especially in has just ruled for the past 5 years since probably 2016. There's been a lot of great hip hop music too that's come out at that time, but the excitement around EDM hasn't been there. But I'd say this summer particularly, we're starting to see like the rise of the underground scene again. If you just look at how many people are enthusiastic, both in their participation going to shows and also like on social media, how many techno DJs are coming up and having a big moment, and how much deep houses have having a moment.
You like Circo Loco?
Yeah, of course,
They are
yeah.
Italian.
Circo Loco founders.
Yeah.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, they are Italian. They stay in Ibiza, but they are all Italian.
Got it.
Yeah, we love
Yeah.
DJing and
We have our huge culture
Yeah.
in Italy.
Yeah.
Gigi D'Agostino.
Gabri Ponte, Benny Benassi. Yeah.
I remember the guys
But
with the Nye.
we have another history side.
Oh yeah.
It's the vocalist.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
The
it's
guy with
the
the
guy
microphone.
that screams at the microphone while the DJ is playing.
Oh, like the
Are you
MCs.
ready?
Like an MC.
like
yeah.
MCs,
Yeah.
but we have like this guy. He does slam poetry with the techno music
Oh wow.
or deep house music.
Yeah.
And the people went crazy. Like
That's cool.
Tranquillo.
I mean,
That's it.
that's kind of like what Fred Again sounds like, you know. And
Yeah.
Fred Again's having a massive moment too, and his music's sick and unique and amazing, and he's so talented, and like that's the kind of stuff that like, you know, we've been in this for a while, but to see kids get excited about our genre, no matter what point it's in, is like is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's an industry that I don't think it's ever gonna stop. It's always going.
Yeah, well, the
forward.
underground like never they've always just did their own thing. Like they've always been the coolest part of the EDM world. But feel like they wouldn't even call themselves EDM. But you know, that's a part that we've always enjoyed. That's the stuff that we became fans first of. But we also, you know, made our sound because we also love pop music and indie music, and you know that became Chainsmokers. But we're big fans of those genres, and they really like kept to themselves and kept their own parties going, and you know they did it the cool way, and it's great to see that that's still super healthy and thriving right now.
Yeah. Which season is the strongest season for you guys? Probably summer, like for your music.
touring?
Yeah,
Yeah,
summer.
Summer. Yeah.
But there's so
Summer.
many like events now every fucking week. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like every week there's like a fashion week or a
Yeah.
Super Bowl or World Cup or F1 or you know. So
Yeah.
it's like there's like it just feels like there's always something somewhere you could be or something you could be doing. But yeah, like summer with all the festivals for
Yeah.
sure. Like in combination with you know Ibiza and Greece and Croatia and all those places
Oh, yeah.
ripping, and then you know just the usual.
Even the streams, I feel like they go up in the summer. for
Everyone
the-
wants like the summer smash,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? To have their song be
Yeah.
the summer song, but like those things don't happen in summer; they happen in like February.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In
In
March.
February, you okay.
Yeah,
okay.
because you
We
need
gotta
the,
get on it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Or you miss
And
the train.
Which is your best, your favorite festival?
There's a bunch. There's one.
I never been in that one in Las Vegas.
oh the
It's huge.
EDC.
EDC.
Yeah, that's a great one. They do a great job with that one.
Huge.
It's huge. That one's like what's cool about that one is I mean they do a really good job with like creative. You know what I mean? So like all these like really awesome art installation things, but it's a little bit less about like the artist and more about like the experience, which is totally like great.
Yeah.
And then but you know like I think for us it's like you want to just go in and know that you're going to play for an awesome crowd, and I think like EDC definitely does that, but like Ultra, you know, who put up festivals all over the world, like you can always count on
You
them.
remember your first time at the main stage at Ultra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We opened it up on the
Oh,
earliest
I
slot.
remember maybe.
We were I mean I don't
With
think it was
Roses.
you were probably not
No,
awake
before
yet.
it was before,
Before?
then. Yeah, it was before. It was when we made this song called Selfie, and we made it as a
yeah,
joke,
so
but it
we-
ended up like defining the early years of our
Yeah.
career, much to our dismay. And now it's like trending on TikTok again, and we're like,
Oh
we
my
have a new
God.
album, everybody. There's a new album, and they're bringing Selfie back.
TikTok came back.
Yeah, I know. But again, like we're trying to, you know, get people to listen to this,
yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like, nah, your first joke hit,
Sí, sí.
or whatever, the internet, you know.
But it's fun, like when you perform, like as you get bigger, you know, like the first time you get to use cryo, you know, and it's like, shh, and you're like, holy shit, we have like, you know, and then your first time you get like a little bit of fire, and now it's like, I mean, we spend like $50,000 a show on
It's amazing.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my first time at Ultra with Dave Grootman
Oh yeah.
eating pizza and listening these guys
Nice.
playing. It's amazing.
Do you guys the DEF CON, like the hardstyle
Oh,
festival?
we never played those, but I know.
No,
what
no,
you're
no.
talking
But
about.
listening to those or
you hear,
watching those.
You hear them in the background of the festivals
Oh, yeah.
where it's like the craziest stage, like
Yeah.
dum, dum, dum,
Yeah.
dum, dum, like hard style.
because that's strong too in Europe, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been to DEF CON. It's fine in Germany, I think.
Yeah. When we come here, we usually like, at least maybe not as much anymore, but like when we used to come here, we would like change our set like a lot between US and here.
Yeah.
And we'd add in like really big room house, like hard style.
Oh yeah, because
Get rid
we
of
love
like
that.
the dubstep.
Yeah.
Like
love
now
that.
it's everything's like a little bit more accepted here, which is great. But it
And
was
also like
fun.
we have more like fans coming to our show that are trying to hear our
sure.
stuff, you know. So your set always kind of transitions. You know?
Yeah, yeah. It's good because you guys can always, like you said, do what you feel doing.
Yeah.
It's not like you're stuck in a genre,
Yeah.
right? So you can if you
Yeah,
go
it's-
crazy and want to do hardstyle for 3 years, you
And
can
I
do
think
that.
Yeah, as
know.
long as it's like authentic, you know.
Yeah, if you
you're
feel
like
it.
following a trend, then that's like kind of
Yeah, yeah,
whack.
yeah.
But if you like are like if we like fell in love with hardstyle, we would make a hardstyle.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and I think in un percorso artistico, come lo dici?
in a artistic career,
In an artistic career,
Yeah.
the best part
in a journey, artistic
is-
journey.
is when you have the freedom to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
despite the
quando-
money and fame and stuff.
Ecco, chiedigli
without-
com'è conciliare la passione col lavoro.
Yeah. How can you... Come si dice conciliare? How can you
Balance,
balance passion and profession?
I don't know that it's like something that we practice. We just kind of make.
Yeah,
What we
okay,
wanna
no,
make,
basically,
Il tuo
every
detto.
time we say in this podcast when fai della tua passione un lavoro e non lavorerai mai.
Yeah. If your job matches your passion, you will not work a day in your life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but I think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Because when your job fit with your passion,
Yeah.
your passion became a job.
Yeah.
So it's
Tough to balance.
Yeah.
Keep it passionate.
I mean, there's always like shit you don't want to do. Like we have to go on podcasts now and
I know.
do promos, but no, I mean, there's always like stuff that you don't want to do. And I mean, even the tour that we're on, we definitely want to be doing this tour, but it's been really hard. That we're gonna play. We're here. We're doing the show tonight in Milan, but we're here for 12 hours. We have to fly. We just landed from Amsterdam. We have to fly to Dubai tonight, and then we're back in I think Munich in a couple days to finish the tour. And so there's but we want to do all these things. We want our fans to come see us. They've been waiting to see us in Milan for maybe 3 years now. So, it's kind of like an inconvenient time to come, but we prioritize that.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, when do you find time to get into the studio with all these shows? You take the studio with you? Probably.
Yeah, well, this tour has been really cool. We've had a studio on our bus, and we're not on the bus every night, but like when we're on the bus, we have it there, or I have like a small rig set up in my hotel room. And I find, traveling to be super inspiring. And so you don't have all of your stuff, but you'll get all these little ideas, and it's fun. It like makes
Perfect.
you get to interact with the city on a creative level, which is really fun.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's crazy how much you guys travel.
Yeah.
I'm shook that I travel from Bologna to Milan. So I'm like, oh, this life is so stressful. 1 hour by train, but this is on another level. So yesterday Amsterdam, Milan, Dubai.
Yeah, tonight. Yeah, we have a show in Dubai tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And music in all of this. So you probably have
Yeah.
like your dopamine levels are so high all the time. You're
Yeah.
so excited. That must be so exciting. So probably like chilling must be so tough. Or
No.
something. No? No, it's better.
Yeah,
you
it's
wanna
really
you wanna
easy.
be chilling.
Yeah, it's really easy to chill. I mean, I think it's like when you're like you said, like you travel so much all the time that when you do get to be home, like you're just happy to be home. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like when I'm home, I'm like, and people are like, let's go out to dinner. I'm like, I don't really want to, like go out that much. to
Leave me
dinner.
alone.
Yeah, I want to hang out with my dogs and chill at home and relax, watch TV and
Okay.
like swim and I think it's also like you get healthy. Like working out on the road is hard. Like so when you're home, you kind of use that time to like rebalance
Take
yourself.
care of yourself.
Yeah, before you go back out on the road. But I mean, it's as you get older, you begin to like prioritize because like when you're 23. It's like you can eat whatever you want. You get hangovers that last like 3 or 4 hours. You know what I mean? And then you're back at it. Now it's like a big night out. Like a hangover, it can be like a devastating blow. Doesn't mean we party any less though. But we're just
Okay,
takes
so
longer.
you enjoy the chilling part, okay? Because I always think I'm not a performer, but I always think that if you have 15,000 people in front of you, like one day and the other day, yes, I feel like I will miss it when I'm not there. I feel like I will be missing the dopamine, the adrenaline from the crowd.
Yeah, you
he
definitely
told me
do.
that. Yeah,
I mean, you definitely do. We love performing. Like during COVID, the pandemic, like that sucked. To have to be at home, especially like as we were making music. You're like, we can't feed off that energy and go to the studio and like make something that we feel like we felt last night. But at the same time, I think there's just different personalities out there. I think there are people out there that like love being in the spotlight 24/7 and like really feed off that energy. And I think we do when we're like on our stage and like we love the platform and the community we've built. But like I'm just as happy that I can go to like the supermarket and
Yeah.
not be bothered.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
And I'm not
100%.
like, why does nobody care?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that I'm here.
That's the best.
Yeah.
The best of both worlds. Like
Yeah,
Hannah,
best.
Hannah Montana or
It's
something.
the best.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's great, you know, and I think different strokes for different folks, and, you know,
Yeah.
but I do think there's something about, you know, today's culture in general where, like, attention really matters. That's, like, really the only thing that, like, form of currency is like, attention. You know what I mean? Like, how many
Yeah.
people are literally looking at you? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan at all of Andrew Tate. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, he did a great job grabbing the attention of everybody. He just unfortunately said a bunch of horrible shit, you know, when he had their attention.
Yeah, yeah. People are fighting for the attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're an artist, you should be fighting for making something that you love.
Well, I
So,
think
yeah.
that's like the problem that I think you're going to see in music right now, which is like, you know, being authentic and not like selling your soul to get like 10,000 people to look at you.
Yeah.
Because it's like a short-term trade-off. You know what I mean? It's like, I think like a lot of the first YouTubers even experience this. Like, we're friends with Logan. I love Logan. But I'm sure like as he was making his videos over time, he was like, every time I have to do something crazier and crazier.
And
And then eventually it's like, I'm either going to jail
Yeah.
or people
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
me
Or you're
you know.
burnt out. Your body cannot
Yeah.
sustain it. Your
And they-
mind. Yeah.
And they did a great job pivoting, and now they have this whole, you know, they have a podcast, they have a whole platform, boxing, wrestling, all these great things. But I think, you know, in general, like, you have to, you know, I think even for us, we realized this when we had like the crazy run in like 2016, 17, is that you got to like hold on to the core fans that were there for you and really build like a community and platform for them, because that's like what will sustain you forever, because you might have everyone's attention right now, but as we know with like TikTok, you just swipe up and now you don't, you know what I mean? And so I think with like social media now, it's a really awesome tool to get discovered, because literally you're just like making a video and shooting it out into the algorithm, and then it will just determine whether 2 billion people will see it
Yeah.
or nobody.
Yeah.
But after that, are those people like interested to see what your platform is actually about? You know what I mean? Are you like, are you an interesting person? You know, what inspires you? What's your like, visual narrative? And I think like TikTok, you kind of don't care. You're just like,
Yeah.
I like this here, and you know, now I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah, 5 seconds later, you're crying and then
Fast food
laughing.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, fast food music.
That's the interesting thing. It's like, do people like the songs outside of TikTok? And some that go viral, they do, and sometimes they just are perfectly formatted for other videos. And then you have the algorithm benefiting people that use popular audio. So then they're popularizing something not because like they necessarily like the song, but because they know that song is trending, and therefore their piece of content has a better chance of doing well. So you see these things blow up like super big, super quickly.
Yeah.
And then they don't stay, which I don't know. And like, who are we to say what's wrong or right? You know, it's more
Yeah.
of just like, that's just,
I think
it's a different thing, you know?
here it's the same. There is a globalization of music
Yeah.
that in the past in Italy, if you have a career, you can maintain for 20 years because nothing happened in this
Yeah.
country. Right now, it's most like US.
Yeah. A few months.
Yeah.
Few months,
Yeah.
few months, you are trend on TikTok, you are the best, and
Then it's over.
it's
Yeah,
over.
it's crazy.
And
I
you
mean, we
gotta-
always talk about this with like our team of people about, you know, TikTok, because like it is probably the best way for us to determine whether a song of ours has any promise or whatever. But like what I always argue with them is that it's like a two-sided equation, because it's like we could have the best song ever, but if we make a really shitty video,
Oh, yeah.
then it's like, then why would people are going to ignore the song? And, you know what I mean? And so it's like, it's not just about music now. When you use this platform, we have to like figure out some way to be entertaining visually or whatever. And it's just like, that's not what people come to the, you know what I mean? Like we have interesting visuals, but that's not like the backbone.
But you also see at the same time, you know, and granted, we're like pretty much only talking about popular music right now. Like there's a lot of other like great music that's being made that doesn't really exist in this world, and sometimes people pull little clips of those songs into this world, which is great. It's the ideal situation. But also there's a lot of artists, actually a bunch in our genre that are their streaming numbers aren't crazy. Their social media numbers aren't crazy, but they've done such a great job at nurturing their community of fans that they're outselling the majority of artists in tickets. Massive shows. People and these are artists, but like, if you look at all the numbers, like statistically, you'd be like, I don't feel like this is that big of an act, but there's this other piece that's known that typically else like labels aren't really focused on because it doesn't, they get paid off of like those streams and those kind of numbers. But like, you see these really healthy touring businesses that are going to last a lot longer than whatever the flashy new song is, even if there's 3 flashy new songs,
Yeah, because people focus a lot, even probably not the people, but the mainstream focus on the monthly listeners on Spotify and stuff. But there's people in Italy too. We see that artists that have like a million, 2 million Spotify monthly listeners, and they cannot sell 500 tickets to a concert.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, maybe in the underground, there's artists that make 1,000 monthly listeners, and they can sell 1,000 tickets.
Right. Yeah.
So that's
see it all the time.
Yeah. So probably the artist should do something. Should be a little revolutionary. Should follow his own lead, right? Rather than trying to match what the label
That's
or
all you
the
can
people,
do.
I mean, I think Bad Bunny's a great example of that. You know what I mean? Like, he came up, obviously, in this genre that was, like, definitely exploding globally. But, like, he was by far the weirdest character kind of coming out of, I feel like, reggaeton Spanish music at the time. Like, I remember sitting in front of him at some award show, and I was like, this guy's a trip. Like, his style was crazy, but he just, like, made fucking awesome music. You know what I mean? And continues to make awesome music. And it, has his own doesn't really play into anything at all, and it's just like so inherently himself. And like, not only does he stream insane numbers, like I think it's like if you look at a pie chart of all the music that's streamed, period, it's like 60% of it is him.
It's crazy.
And then every other artist is like 40%. And then like we went to a show in Vegas recently, and it was unbelievably good.
Yeah, we saw. So we played at Allegiant Stadium, which is the new stadium in Vegas, and I had actually never been to any kind of like reggaeton concert like that, period. And then I've recently really become a big fan of his, and love all the music. It makes sense to me in a way that genre didn't really before, and I love him as a character. And stepping in there, I mean, I think he sold out 2 nights at this stadium, and every single person for every single song, he played for like 3 hours. I think he played like 75 songs.
Wow.
And he had every single person dancing from like the beginning to end.
It's crazy.
Like, and we had a cool like little area kind of in the back at the end of the field. So I felt like we could see a good cross section of like everybody from where we were, and there was not a single person not moving to every song.
Oh, wow.
It was.
So he's got both the strong followers and the huge crowd.
Yeah.
But it could go on forever, because like none of it feels like an act. Like,
it's
like
not,
it's
'cause
just
not.
like you know what I mean? He's never like feels like he's reaching outside or trying. It's so effortless because it's just like him at its core. And
I guess
think,
what we're
like,
trying to say is Bad Bunny's the man.
Yeah, he's the man.
He's the man.
The South
for sure.
American scene is so strong.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
and it
see-
blends like a nice like the same reason I think dance music became global in a lot of ways, which is just like these melodies and sounds that didn't matter if you knew what they were saying in the song, you could just relate to the feeling you got from it.
Yeah.
I feel like reggaeton's like tapped into that in a real way where I took 7 years of Spanish, but I suck. You know what I mean? But I don't care. I can like the melodies
You
they're
feel
singing
it.
and and the tone of it all. It's like I have a great time listening to it. Whereas there's like, and I think that every genre has that in some capacity, but some it's way easier to access, like in reggaeton or dance music. I think.
It's good.
Figo, you prefer festival or clubs?
Probably festivals.
Yeah.
We don't play in that many clubs anymore.
No?
So we play in the only club we play in is in XS in Vegas at the
In
Wynn.
Vegas? Yeah.
And then it's pretty much either what we're doing tonight. We're doing like a little like arena tour.
Oh yeah.
And then I don't know. Clubs can be fun like every now and then.
Yeah, it's like
you
Dave
know.
grew up in clubs. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
got to be like the big ones in that area, kind of. And it's usually like around some big thing like Super Bowl or Art Basel or like
Yeah.
things like that. But I like both because like clubs are just like low pressure. Like I can play whatever we want, and it's
You
like
can do experiment.
yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Like I miss that. Like I think that is something like I mean I definitely don't have time to do this, but like I loved in New York. Like if when I go back to New York in like the spring and spend some time there, like going to like the shitty bar club and just being like jumping on for like 3 hours and just like playing whatever you want and being like, because that's how you're like, oh, this song is sick. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't realize how like much people would like could dance to this record. And no one cares, you know what I mean? And it's like, if they don't dance either, it's like, well, whatever, fuck you.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's like you need to be doing both. I think Diplo does a really good job of always doing that. I mean, he's like, he could be DJing like next door right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
And,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But he's always, like out there playing country shows or house parties or Burning Man parties. And
Yeah.
it gives you like a really a great spectrum of musical tastes
Yeah.
and styles to like pull from as you produce and write music.
Yeah, you gotta have something to give to the people that they cannot find anywhere else outside of you.
Yeah.
Probably there must be either the Salvatore Ganacci that has the crazy.
Oh, he's so
stunts.
funny.
So
Yeah.
funny.
I
And his
presente
videos are
Ganacci.
like so.
È un DJ che non è italiano. He's not Italian, I think.
He's
His
not.
name is
It's like
so Italian, but he's
he seems Swedish.
yeah, he's
It
like
seems-
Swedish. Yeah.
I don't. We've met him a couple times. He's a very nice man, and
Yeah.
his whole thing is hysterical.
Yeah.
And really just well done. The videos are great.
Yeah.
Like, the promotion's great.
The whole
songs are sick.
imaginary. How do you say that?
Yeah. yeah, The world he's built. Yeah.
Yeah. So you gotta have some kind of a specialty about you. Yeah. Because there's so many people doing it. That's why.
Yeah, you got to work hard. I mean, it's like you're not going to get, there's obviously, even if you're super talented, you still need to like, that will only get you so far if you don't have the like work ethic
Oh yeah.
to get there. And the people that do have the work ethic and the talent, like Drake, you know what I mean? It's very obvious.
They make it.
Yeah, like why he's the biggest artist on the planet.
Yeah.
Um,
Little luck, like you said.
Of course.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
the timing of everything's got to be right. And, it's like the right artist has to support you. I mean, I think early on in our career, like, we didn't really have anyone, like, co-signing us ever. But, like, there were people like Tiesto who would, like, put our songs on his podcast. Or not his podcast, but his, like, mix shows.
Show, yeah.
And you were like, and that was, like, a big step. You know what I mean? And, like, then suddenly, like, there's a new validity because you have, biggest DJ in the world
Yeah.
saying that this is a record worth hearing.
And
You
you blew up in the most vicious competition period. How do you say it? No, competitive
yeah.
period for your music. I mean, so 2012 probably was like the when there was Skrillex and
I mean, it's crazy.
everybody.
Everybody.
Avicii, Swedish House Mafia,
So,
Calvin
yeah.
Harris, David Guetta, like
It was
they
so
were just
competitive.
and it was like they were running pop radio too. Like it
Oh.
wasn't just dance music. Like it was wild.
Everybody wanted to be a DJ. I
It was
remember.
such a
Yeah.
fun-
All my friends had like
such
a
a
little
fun time.
virtual DJ on the computer, and
We kind of ruined it, though. I mean, that's like, I hope, like, the next, like, wave. Like, all that was great. Like, that was such a fucking great time to be alive.
yeah.
And motivating.
And yeah, but I think like creatively, like everyone could have done a better job, like formatting the music for the public, because like it got corny like super fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It became like a factory line of things, and like I think it also like promoted newer artists to just, instead of being creative, they were just like, oh, that's a popular sound, I'm gonna just make that sound now. And it just like kind of waters down the whole space, and then eventually like hip hop comes along, which just felt like way more authentic and interesting versus where dance music like ultimately ended up. And it's like, it's tough because like even for us when we want to like work with features of, artists and stuff, you have to like show them that there's like a substance behind what you're trying to do, and get them to like buy into this idea that's not just like some cheesy house feature, and it's going to be like the typical music video that's corny or whatever. And and we've made corny videos too, so we've all been there. But I think like hopefully in this next phase, and I think you've
I
seen
love that meme.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to pull up this meme from like
Yeah.
10 years ago.
It's
it
so
was
good.
it was so popular, remember? So it's like
Yeah.
Please help. We need a doctor. I'm a DJ. I'm a DJ. Me too. Because everybody, it looked like everybody wanted to be a DJ.
I mean, anyone can be. You're just playing music. It's not like there's not like a qualification
Yeah.
that makes like.
No, you have to do.
Yeah, it's just simple. Yeah.
Gotta have rhythm and stuff.
But then you like go to enough shows and you begin to like understand. You're like, oh, they have like a specific sound, or they like, you know, it's like crate digging at its core. I mean, it's like going to the record, like Peggy Goo and like artists like that go, you know, and find these really niche, weird songs that like become their sound. But you're curating, and you're a curator at the end of the day. I mean, I think like for us, like we always like like our Vegas show, it's just about making people have a good time.
Yeah, sure.
And bring them into like whatever world or atmosphere your music is supposed to represent. And that's, you know, what any artist probably wants to achieve with their fans at their shows. I mean, we played as a band too, like our drummer plays tonight with us, and I play some keys, and Drew sings, obviously.
Nice.
And it's like, you know, I think there's a lot of value being like performing music as like a traditional band. But then we also like know the value of playing music as DJs, and it's like that's what kind of drew us to music DJing, which was like the music was so loud and so like impactful, and you know, every sound was like crisp and filled up like, you know, the entire space you were in. With bands, it's like a little thinner, but like you could have really authentic moments as a, you know, as a band. So it's like we're trying to find that middle ground where you can kind of have that authenticity and closeness, but also the like 10,000 people jumping at the same time going nuts.
Yeah.
There's definitely bands that achieve both. I mean,
Yeah.
It's kind of quello che ci dicevano i Medusa. We had Medusa here.
Yeah.
They are Italian.
isn't it one guy or it's two guys?
Three guys.
Three guys.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I was
Three
just
guys.
Well,
one in
yeah,
Vegas.
sometimes they
Something
split.
they
Yeah.
split, I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, they split to work. There's
Yeah.
only one guy maybe in Vegas, and I don't know.
Yeah.
only one guy.
I feel like that's always the
no, there's one guy mixing on
Yeah.
stage, and there's two producers.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah.
that's
Ah,
what
sì,
it
sì,
is.
sì, sì.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Yeah, and they tell the same story.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such an interesting split up of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like inevitably, like that one guy's gonna, you know, it's like if they're not making good music, then he's gonna be like, what the fuck?
So
like,
what?
the
Yeah,
shows are
it's weird.
disappearing,
when I
or
went
it's like-
to their show, there's only one guy.
Yeah.
the consult.
These records suck.
And the
Yeah.
other two was with the girlfriends and drinking
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's like, okay.
Team effort.
Yeah.
effort.
Almost.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah. I was wondering if for the new generation of producers and musicians and DJs, any suggestion for the kids watching at home, the Italian kids?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've been producing for like 10 to 15 years now, and so much has changed in terms of like resources to learn. And it was like since we started, we were, you know, trying to pirate plugins and like reading on forums how to make silence sound better. And now there's so many new pieces of software, and there's so many places you can learn. And I think the advice I'd give is like embrace all of it. You know, there's so many. I mean, like, kind of like the tech business, it's like like no code. You know, or there's so many like tools that you can use where you don't have to honestly like technically understand some of the things that you did in the past. And I think that you'll get a lot of benefit if you do take the time to do those things. But you can also make great music that reacts, that makes people feel something, which is at the end of the day all we're trying to do, with the resources that are out there. And then you can kind of get to a place where you're making songs at a quicker pace. But then, you know, if you really are passionate about the technology, then you'll inevitably learning how to design synths and
Nice.
stuff we all ended up having to do in the beginning because we didn't have those resources.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the DJ, we had a DJ that did it for like 50 years. He
Yeah.
started in the 70s, and he told us that when
Is
he
that
started, I
Giorgio?
mean, he's Franchino. He's
Okay. He's the vocalist, the slam
Yeah.
poetry guy.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
So 50 years, that's
Okay.
a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
he used to be actually a disc jockey. you
Yeah.
know?
I think
So-
also like you gotta, and I see this a lot because like people send us demos all the time, and I'm like always try to give feedback and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's when you get the first email, it's always like, hey, I've been making like all this music, and I'm just not like getting to the next step. Like, you know, what can I do to help? And I generally like listen to the music, and I'm like, well, it's just not good. You know what I mean? And it's not like they can't get good, But it's like, I think the point is, it's just like you got to do what he's saying, but then just keep making it, and eventually you like will start to make really good music. You know what I mean? Better, high quality music, and then if it is good, people will start to notice. I think around you,
sure.
and I think there's lots of tricks, obviously, that you can do to take shortcuts and use TikTok effectively and different things. But like generally speaking, if you become a really good artist and music that has like an identity, I think you'll begin to see people will start to take notice and rally around you. And if they're not, it's because you just haven't got there
You haven't
yet.
connected yet. It's
Yeah.
not even like, it's hard to even say what's good or bad. It's just, you got to find some connection with an audience, and that will those will become your fans,
you
whether
gotta
that's
have-
through performing or like making songs.
Yeah, and the substance, like you said,
Yeah, that's another thing too. Like all of the performing is a whole nother piece of the puzzle that like you forget is so important. You see a lot of great singers or producers now like becoming famous overnight, and then it's like, go perform, and they're like, what? You know what I mean? And it's like that's like a scare. That's a in its own right. Like you don't want to start at the big stuff right away.
Oh, yeah. You burn out quick, maybe.
Yeah,
Well, and
sure.
it's just
Must be
terrifying.
scary, yeah.
I mean, when you see like certain, performers that are obviously like icons, like Freddie Mercury and people like that just look like they were like born on stage to perform, but it like takes times for other people to like figure out how to, like Youngblood, I heard, is a great performer on stage. It takes time to kind of build up the confidence and movement that you want to put on a great show, because they're also like, you go to some performances where they have great music and you're like, wow, that was like really boring. You know what I mean?
They need to practice more.
Yeah.
Or they just haven't figured out what like the format of the vibe of their show needs to be.
Yeah.
They might be like plenty talented, they just haven't figured out how to connect with their audience the right way on stage.
Yeah, there's so many aspects about it. So hopefully the kids watching us are
Bambini italiani.
Yeah. Bimbi italiani, mamma mia.
Bambini italiani. Cazzo.
Fate qualcosa, cazzo. Facciamoci esplodere all'estero.
No.
Musicalmente. Yeah, I said, yeah.
Hai detto veramente facciamoci
Sì, nel
esplodere
senso,
all'estero.
musicalmente.
Ok.
Alright.
Ringraziamo,
Thank
chiudo.
you.
How did you guys meet, by the way?
Oh, in his birthday, like
my
5
birthday.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a coffee maker and I started YouTubing, and he noticed my videos and he was like, "Come to my birthday." So
That's funny.
that was it.
And now here you are.
And now, yeah.
Love that. See,
Yeah.
that's a great example. Like you did something that was unique to you. You
Yeah,
took notice,
sure.
and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
now you guys have a show together.
Oh yeah.
Bene, ringraziamo i Chainsmokers per essere stati con noi. Questo è il loro disco, So Far So Good.
Yes.
Questa sera suonano a Milano, ma quando vedrete questa puntata probabilmente sarà già uscita.
suonato.
E thank you so much, guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.